You're listening to the Law Enforcement Pirate Radio Network. Radio Free Larry presiding.
One of these days, that's not going to happen. It's actually going to work again.
You can run, but you can't hide.
Radio Free Larry.
Well, maybe next time it'll work better. I don't want to have infirmities. I don't ask for infirmities. I don't ask to have situations that I'm uncomfortable in. God told me not to do that, and that's not for me. If God could give me a perfect life, God would. But I've been told by the angels of God, as well as the saints and martyrs that have gone before that speak in spirit, that God does get moved to tears and has been known to move to tears in some of the things I think, because it's not the life I was supposed to live or the life that God would have for me. But that's true about a lot of people, if not everyone. But I, was confronted with a lot of things, and that's not why I rebuked the deep state devils. Although the trap that God had set with what happened is the reason. Believe you me, they knew that I could have been immunocompromised. Yet they increased their curses based upon that. So again, God will use that in judgment. So it all fit, and I just had this weird feeling that God was kind of moving it. God wasn't the reason all the bad things were happening, but God, I noticed that it was happening too perfect for God not to be in there doing something. Which means this. I caught a couple of bugs. Then I take my physical. And the way the information comes to me, it's not coming all at once. It comes piecemeal. So I take my physical and my liver enzymes are off. And never in my life has anybody ever said that could be an issue. Because, they're not jacked. But I didn't read in the physical that the guy actually said. I couldn't see it. I couldn't even tell you whether that was there. Because I've had things where I've read in the Bible that I don't think that's ever been in the Bible before. Is God actually able to change the Bible today? And we think we read it our whole life. But for some reason, I can see that that's different than anything I've ever seen in the Bible before. And of course, that would be God showing me that. But on my physical one day, I said to God before I read this, I said, God, if it's my time, it's my time. And remember, God said, this is what it feels like to die. And I'm like, okay. Kind of okay, because I was surrounded by white light, but I hit the ground and then I was here again. I didn't get to leave. And it hurt hitting the ground. But it was, something that I could deal with. It was maybe 5-10 seconds. I shook it off and, we rode back over the emergency room till it went away. I had to wait in the line. I drank some Gatorade, and that was when I had that touch of pneumonia. Which, the spread here isn't that big, so, especially back then. So, the chances of it being COVID-19 are pretty slim, including a negative result. But, of course, back then, at least 25% of the negatives were incorrect. So, and there was reasons also, whether they got the good swab and all of that. I know the nurse couldn't get it in my one nostril right, so she moved to the other. So she knew she had to get a good whatchamajigger. example. But I said one day, I said, God, if it's time to go, it's time to go. I've told you for years, some people live one day, some people live 10 years. I lost a lot of people and friends in the military over the years. When I was in there, we had that Gander thing, and that was a quick thing. And that was a weird one because I couldn't figure out what I was feeling. All I remember is I was on a jog. I was running because I was a big runner in Egypt when I was in Sinai. And I was on a run, and they said, formation. Went to the center of South Camp by the mess hall. And actually, I think it's strange. Now, as a seer, I would know God had set that up because if I remember correctly, I had just finished running. I wasn't like going back. I don't think I got back to the barracks or anything. I was like, what? Formation? It was like, I forget what day of the week it was, and I was running, and I was like, okay, I'm here. And then everybody else showed up, and they said all these people asked. And a close friend, and, recently I was thinking about a person I posted about. And that was Ricardo. And God's telling me that he won't let me remember his last name right now. He wants me to call him Ricardo. He was touched about what I had to say. He was an anonymous person, and generally people didn't like him. And I was neutral with him up until, in South Camp, we all got into arguments. Him and I got in an argument. A guy named Easterling, he was a bodybuilder. Him and I got in an argument. Oh, but that's not a good feeling. The last moment you have with somebody is an argument. But I remember laying there and not sleeping, not feeling pain, not being upset. My parents called. I had to call them, or I called them. I remember there was a call with my parents and said, I'm okay, kind of thing. But I remember not sleeping, just being numb. It's just one of those strange things. It's as close as you're going to come to a combat loss that I can imagine. But also, you got to remember, people suffer these losses. Now, being the person, the messenger for God, I have to say certain things. I have to say them certain ways, and I can't tell you everything. I can only tell you what God tells me to tell you. And I have to do it the way God tells me to do it. But I said to God, God, I have work to do, and I know that. And for some reason, I have this intense fear of not finishing my work. And I don't even know what it is. I just know it exists. I said, God, if it's in the plan, I know it's your best interest to do what's best for us because you love us so much and your emotion is driven towards doing the best you can for creation forever, not just for the moment. I said, but I got work to do, and I know that. So if you could leave me here for a little bit longer, I would appreciate it. And, God knows I feel weird saying it because I don't like to ask for things. There's so many people that need. Now, on earth, I'll yell at you and tell me, give me what I'm owed, but I don't ask God for it. God is the breath of life. God's given us everything we could ever want. He's given us life. And this life here is nothing compared to the life of forever. So I come home and the voice says, look at your physical. I looked at my physical and it said, we have to retest, but it's not an emergency. I said, wait, I don't remember reading that. Now you could look at all the records you want. It's going to say that. Because now in time and space it says that. And it may have said it. I can't know more than I know. So today, I got sick. Now, I surmised it was my liver flush. I bought a liver flush. I'm like, well, I might as well not just sit around. I got to retest, and I might as well clear my liver. And I read that antibiotics can do that and cause your enzymes to you. I said, I'll try this liver flush. It was the liver flush ends up making me sick. After 3 days, I'm sick. I'm thinking it's that, but, I've got a headache that I don't remember ever having. I'm saying, well, maybe it's allergies. And my blood pressure was a little weird, and I said, I just tested it. It was low. So I had to go and get that looked at, so we did the test. And the enzymes, the doctor came back and he said, he didn't just say they were normal, he said they're perfect. So that means my whole physical was perfect. That's a gift in itself. But something happened. The doctor was 70-something years old, I imagine. And when he got finished, I said, I bet you're just as old as me. We're trying to flatter the doctor and bring up a subject that might be sensitive. And he said, well, I'd say I'm a little older. And I said, doctor, at your age, you're a hero. And I'm sure you've been a hero your whole life. I said, I can't believe you're here. I just can't believe you're here. You're one of the bravest men I've ever met. And God wanted that to happen because I have my U.S. Army shirt on. And he asked me about my life a little bit, and I let him in on it. So, well done and good and faithful servant for the doctor. I'm just touched that doctor was there and treated me well. Now, of course, I've been out and about, so that's not the best thing in the world, but I'm no longer, as far as I know, immunosuppressed. But yet, that's a gift in itself, too. Again, I don't want to be ill. I don't want to be any sicker than I've been. But we know that happens to people in the Bible, and that's not only Paul, and it's not only because you've done something wrong. But like I told you, I uttered that several times. We should empathize with people as if we're living that life, and it's not easy. I am what's called an empath, and it's not some New Age thing, although Jesus reminds me that he was in the New Age. Not to say that other people are any better or any less than Jesus, but Jesus and I have had long discussions and thoughts about many people in many places in many situations. And we just don't want anybody to believe that they're less than anyone else. But there is a time when devils need to be reminded that they're devils. And I mean devils. I'm not here to play some game where they made a little mistake or dumbing down what a devil is. And the people that are victims of devils and possessed by devils, we're calling devils. But yet those that are the devils and the possessors, some in the body on earth, are getting free passage. So again, hopefully someday soon, everybody will be well and back where we need to be. The plagues come because the plagues are willed up by evil. What God does is neutralize the plague so that everybody experiences the plague equally. So I had a kind of a rough day today, and it wasn't, really fashioned in a way that it made it comfortable for me. But I also know that people are every day going to work. Some of them getting sick. They're never seeing their family again. But there were plenty of signs over the years, and I've said enough, where people should have reversed course. The deep state should no longer have existed. They keep receiving power of an anti-power nature to harm people. And that's going on. So it was nice to find out that I was well in that way, but it kind of exposed me a little bit to the outside world. But, like I said, God, and this is what touches God's heart. And, you may have these moments with God, and I said, but God, the amount of exposure that I've had is so minimal compared to everyone else. Don't let that be wasted and let my work continue. It's just an immense loss and waste of my life and the connection I had and have with God. I've been possessed, I've been cursed, but so have you. The problem is it's hard to see one's own possessions and one's own curses manifesting in sin. Because Satan restructures sin to make us believe that we don't sin. Because we can only see somebody else's sin. Or every once in a while we think we sin, but that's not a sin. But the greatest sins on earth go unnoticed most days. So again, we are in a place we don't want to be. But this place could have been avoided. And we can avoid any future places like this by turning our eyes upon God. I kind of got to fix this here. I'm kind of losing you. I got to make the adjustments eventually on my noise gate, so it's a little more sensitive to my voice. But we can get out of this and we can get moving on. But it's a spiritual renewal that must take place first. What's going on this planet is just horrific. Horrific. But I got over there and they couldn't, the one place that I went to couldn't scan my head, so it was no good because we had to check for a stroke. That was the big thing. I was like, oh, don't tell me I'm having a stroke. What the hell's going on? And, they knew. I mean, I didn't have to say it. They said it, well, we can't scan you. And my doctor's not available, of course, because she's on special duty for something. So I go and, I got somebody to see me, and it wasn't very busy. I wasn't around a lot of people. But it had to be done. I mean, I couldn't sit here and wait until, maybe an ambulance had to be called or whatever. So I said, I got to get myself over there. I don't want to, have to call EMS or get over there. But there's a lot that was done so that I wouldn't have a vehicle right now. A lot was done evil. And they know who they are. And God is not mocked. I know a lot of people are not happy with prophets and messengers when they don't say certain things that they want them to say. And, it has nothing to do with being swallowed by a whale. I'll joke about that all day long, but I can't do anything other than God tells me. And it's a very uncomfortable life. But I can't do anything else. And it's whatever it is. I have no idea why God moves in the direction God moves other than it's for the salvation of all of creation. Every single one needs to go home to God. And we have to work through the wills that have been placed around all of us and that block the will of God till we get back to the will of God, and then we'll all be saved in heaven forever. I hope to get a little bit weller and be able to once again relate some of the afterlife things that I'm seeing, because they're here. They're with us. The dead in Christ are risen. I've told you I'm not sure how the timetable's going right now, but I've seen the rapture, a spiritual rapture. many times. So I, most likely, I believe it's the supplement I took because I felt weird a couple days, and then today it went crazy and I felt real sick. So I probably had like an allergic reaction to something that's in there. And that's probably what it is more than anything else. The doctor said just get off of that and everything should go away and you should be fine. But we know that people are not safe, and we have to remember that. God expects you to emphasize. I know you talk about the economy, and that sounds great. An economy is required, but some of the things people are saying, they don't understand. I don't know if they've lived spoon-fed lives their whole life or what. But there are people out there that are suffering, people that don't have protection, people that don't even have a mask that they can wear. And you're going to sit inside protected until it's safe. Be very careful that the love of money doesn't bring a lot of more sorrow. But I feel confident. I've felt confident the whole time, pretty much, that we would beat COVID-19 at some point. Now, I could be wrong. I'm not telling you that's prophetic. But I felt confident that something like ivermectin or something would come along and just knock it out 1-2. Only maybe some of the most ill people that would normally even go with a flu or something would experience things. There has to be a method to the madness, and Rand Paul had said the same thing. Jesus is speaking, that's why I'm quiet and listen to what he's saying. Don't block Jesus from people. You've blocked him from my life if you could, and sometimes you did because he couldn't speak to me direct. Well, hopefully everyone stays well. Praise God in all that you do. Praise God.